elections taking place in 12 days' time, where democracy is on everyone's lips. We look to the splendid mother of all parliaments down by the Thames. Politicians we haven't seen for years are standing grinning at our front doors, begging us to vote for them. A lot of people who are registered to vote aren't bothering, and there are a lot of people who aren't even registered. We hear ordinary people say that all politicians are liars and thieves. Whoever you vote for, nothing ever changes.
29 grand.
These attitudes are born out of an understanding gained through experience that the parliamentary system doesn't represent or defend the interests of working class people. Words of Dr. Hagar writing a book called The English Constitution in 1867. He said that democracy is a way to give the people the greatest illusion of power while allowing them the smallest amount in reality. In the words of Che Guevara, communist revolutionary, he said democracy cannot consist solely of elections that are nearly always fictitious and managed by rich landowners, professional politicians. To these we can add bankers, big business. Democracy as a class basis, and democracy is really a question of power. In bourgeois democracy, despite elections and parliaments, power lies in the hands of the capitalist state and the ruling class it represents. Through the economic power, the ruling class control and make up the various unelected bodies of the state, the courts and legal system, the army, police and security services, the bureaucracy, civil servants, the clergy and the mass media. Through the professional lobbyists and pressure groups, big business and the City of London have a dominating influence on Parliament. Most MPs are drawn from the middle and upper class and relish the lifestyle and privilege Parliament gives them. Elections in Britain are stage managed by PR companies who run the glossy advertising campaigns and sell their political product to the consumer public. 2005 British general election cost £112 million. Information flows one way and gone on the open public meetings where ordinary people can question and challenge the candidates. We see Brown on Cameron, Tweedledum versus Tweedledee, covered in makeup, trying to smile and give the impression of a man you can trust, travelling with entourage from one poor opportunity to another. Lenin said that in the era of Britain and parliamentarianism, it's impossible to gain the following of the masses without a widely ramified, systematically managed, well-equipped system of flattery, lies, fraud, juggling with catchwords, and promising all manner of reforms and blessings to workers right and the left. As long as they've announced the struggle for the revolutionary overthrow of the bourgeoisie. The fraud is the outcome of the election. The fraud is that the outcome of the elections matters. It won't. Big business will still call the shots. The so-called independent mass media and mass communication is not independent at all. It is owned by individuals and corporations and serves the interests of the ruling class. As Lenin said, all the important questions of war, peace and diplomacy are made by a handful of capitalists who deceive not only the masses, but very often Parliament itself. Let's not forget that Tony Blair, the face of British imperialism, used the justification of bringing democracy to launch illegal wars. There was no popular referendum on the decision to go to war. When imperialism exports democracy with the barrel of a gun, its propagandists equate democracy with the free market and capitalism. British democracy for oppressed nations and people is a democracy with invasion, divide and rule, slavery, blood, terror, rendition and torture. Liberal democracy is a preferred political expression of advanced capitalism. economic and political power concentrated in the hands of the bankers and multinational corporations, creating massive inequalities of wealth. Can we really expect democracy in a society where wealth and power are concentrated in the hands of a few? Democracy is about power, economic, political and social, and we cannot talk about democracy without discussing imperialism and its concentration of power. The City of London stands at the heart of British imperialism and global imperialism. It in effect runs the British state. Its interests are what counts in the coming election, not yours or mine. This is where real power lies in Britain. If our democracy doesn't work, then what is the alternative? The working people of Paris declared an independent state in the spring of 1871, the Paris Commune. They set up a model of democracy for working people. Following the 1871 Paris Commune, Karl Marx wrote The Civil War in France, analysing the experience of the Commune. He famously wrote that the bourgeois democracy enabled voters to decide once in 3 to 6 years which member of the ruling class would best represent them. The proletarians of Paris, said the Commune Central Committee in its manifesto, amidst the failures and treasons of the ruling classes, have understood that the hour has struck for them to save the situation by taking into their own hands the direction of public affairs. They have understood that it is their imperious duty and their absolute right to render themselves masters of their own destinies by seizing upon the governmental power. Marx analysed the capitalist basis of liberal representative government and argued that true popular democracy could only exist under socialism. He said it was, discussing the Paris Commune, he said it was essentially a working class government, the political form at last discovered under which to work out the economic emancipation of labour. The democracy of the commune, the workers, peasants and soldiers' councils was direct and participatory. Direct participative democracy ensures popular control. Working class people need to subject all state institutions to popular control. The obligation to report back, the right of recall, referenda and popular initiatives, and the institutionalization of popular participation in all areas of public life. We are not opposed to participation in elections on principle, but if working class people are staying away from the polls out of rejection of the parliamentary facade of democracy, then we are not going to drag them back. We need political action outside the framework of parliamentarianism. Everything from local neighbourhood meetings, campaigns to defend our services which are under attack, to direct and industrial action. We have to defend our rights in the face of attacks on our civil liberties and our living standards. The challenge is to reclaim democracy from the privileged political class, from ordinary people acting collectively for our shared needs, such as adequate housing, education, decent healthcare, access to culture, and safe and strong communities. To join our street parliament today, make your mark and take the power back. These elections are in the interest of the rich. By participating in them, we give them legitimacy. We need to stand alongside all of those who are coming under attack. That includes people fighting against the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, people fighting against job losses, immigration controls, and against redundancies.